people, no Church of God, or nothing, right? I was sick of all of them. Sick of all of them. Sick of all of them. You know, and let me put this disclaimer in here. If you ever want to see who really standing with you, fall.
Right. That's so true. Or try to make stuff happen. You can see who really standing with you.
That's it. If you ever want to see who's standing with you, just fall. Yeah. Because 9 times out of 10, if you with me when I'm standing, but you really with me when I'm falling, because you know my tenacity and my perseverance, my fall is temporary, but my reign is forever. But that's another sermon for another day.
Preach, sir.
but for me, to be real, Christina, like I was literally in a place mentally where I didn't want to hear from God. I didn't want to seek from God. I didn't trust nobody. I didn't want to talk about nothing. And so it got to the point literally to where I just didn't know what to do, because in order for a man to express where he is mentally, that means he has to come to a place of being vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And in me being vulnerable, I want to know that my vulnerability is not only safe, but it's secure. Right. Because it's one thing to be safe, but it's another thing to be secure. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Because when I'm safe, I ain't too much worried about what's gonna happen. But when I'm secure, it's not even a thought in my mind that something's gonna happen. You understand what I'm saying? So me giving you showing you my vulnerable side, letting you know where my mind is, letting you know what I'm feeling. Listen, I don't feel like myself. You know, I'm not happy with myself. I don't like myself. And so I'm taking off all the armor and giving you the real me. You understand? So as a man, we want to make sure that when in me being vulnerable, that what I'm telling you is not only safe, it's not only secure, but I'm telling to somebody that genuinely and authentically loves me and understands me. Because in me being vulnerable, it calls for transparency. Mm-hmm. It's going to cause for some honesty, some difficult conversation. So that means you're going to hear some stuff you didn't expect me to say. That means I'm going to have to tell you some stuff that you did not think. Talk to me. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So I got to make sure that my truth, that my trust is in an outlet, or have an outlet to where I know it's not going anywhere. For me, I have 4 people in my life, males, who I trust.
It's good to have positive male role models. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's it.
Yeah,
everybody else, they like it at a buffet. They the dessert line ain't necessary, but it's there if you want it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so those 4 people, literally, they help love me back to a stable place. You understand? They love me back to a stable place.
They didn't judge.
They didn't judge. Yeah. They held me accountable. Mm-hmm. They told me if I was wrong. They told me where I faulted in, but then they also showed me how we gonna fix this together. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, that's good. So where did your wife play a role? Like, was she understanding? Was she like, like, what was her response? Without, I ain't trying.
No. Let me tell you something. I really have a good wife. I really do. That for her to be with me, to stay with me. She's a really good woman. I think it makes it easier because we've been together since high school. Mm-hmm. So she knows. Yeah. She knows me. You understand what I'm saying? She know what I will do. She know what I won't do. She know what I'm capable of. She know what I'm not capable of. So she knows me. For her, she loved me from a standpoint of I'm here when you're ready. Because it got to a place, excuse me, Christina, where I didn't even want to talk to her.
You're right.
Because like I would tell her all the time, you don't understand because you just have the last name. I got the face that people going to remember. Mm-hmm. You understand? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if you change your last name tomorrow, you good. But I have to live with this name in this space every day. But I would tell you, she constantly prayed for me. She constantly checked on me. She constantly reminded me how much it was going to get better, even when I didn't want to hear it. When I wanted to go off my own emotions and react and retaliate, she would still coach me like, hey, listen, you got to trust that it's going to get better. I ain't want to hear nobody get better. I'm trying to air this thing out.
Right. I feel you, man.
With a smile. So when they do this mugshot, you got a smile on my face. You what I'm saying? But no, but like she loved me back to my wholeness, you know, and every day wasn't easy. Every day wasn't, you know, peaches and cream or walk in the park, but she took the time out to walk with me, you know, and so my hat's off to her, honestly. But she was patient with me. So you asked what role did she play? She was patient with me, you know, she was gentle with me, because the truth of the matter is, I don't care how much weight you lift, how much of a man you are. Every man has a breaking point.
Yeah.
You know, and it happens to the best of it. Some are on a much larger scale and some are on a much minimal scale, but every man has a breaking point. So she was patient, she was gentle, but most of all, she stayed by my side. She was my security. You know, when the world was against me, I knew I had a best friend to go home to. You know, when I tell this testimony all the time, when I went through my pandemic in 2018, I never forget, suicide was heavy on my mind. I was in a bad place mentally. I was dark. It didn't matter how much lights were on in the house, how pretty the sun was shining outside. Mentally, I was a wreck. And I never forget, it was one particular day, Christina, I had my gun next to my bed, and I had every intention of taking my life. I was going to take my life not because I was guilty, not because, you know, I did anything. I was going to take my life because I saw what was being said from people that know me all my life. I was going to take my life because I didn't know how I was going to bounce back from this. I was going to take my life because I just knew it was over. And there was this pretty little girl that came in my room this one particular day and said, "Daddy, can I lay with you and watch TV?" And that's my now 6-year-old Sydney Grace, who came in and took a nap with me that day. And because of that, it delayed me taking my life. But not just did it delay me taking my life, it showed me there was more to me than what was being seen at that moment.
Right.
You know, and so just that patience not only came from my wife, but it came from my kids. You gotta remember, my kids was like, "Bro, what?"
Right. We need you. Like, you don't got time to be going out.
You do whatever you want to do, but this right here, this ain't gonna work, bro.
And then you know what, got 6 kids?
What? 7.
7?
Girl, it's 7 of them.
Yeah.
I just had 7. My baby's 7.
Yeah.
So, you know, she 8 months, she almost grown, so we ain't had time for that, you know. So
yeah. So let's talk about that suicide piece some more, because I can just remember when I was wanting to commit suicide, like you said, you just rested once your daughter came in. For me, God literally spoke to me and told me, "Christina, that's enough." You know, because I had the knife to my throat, and then I was going to put the knife through my heart, because something in me told me that if I sliced my throat, then I was going to have to suffer.
Yeah.
But if you put the knife through your heart, you can go instantly. So I was like, let's do that. So, but I just wanted to be over, you know. Yeah. But then once God spoke to me, and it's just like a whole calm came on me, and then I just slept. I just rested, you know, and it's just something about that. Like, I don't know. So let's talk about this suicide piece some more, because it's somebody out there that's probably at that point right now, going through this pandemic, probably not working, got a family to provide for, you know, like, it's heavy on a lot of people.
It's heavy.
And they at that point, but I'm telling you, don't do it. This too shall pass. So let's talk about that a little more.
Let me say this one thing, because I felt Jesus when you said that, right? You know, and I feel him real heavy.
Take him with you.
This is for whoever is watching us. I'm not that person to say I don't know who this is for, but this is for whoever's watching and feeling that way. You are too important to the story to die in this chapter.
Right.
Listen, and I had to remind myself that, because don't think just because Sydney Grace climbed in the bed that one time that it made that thought go away. Mm-hmm. No, it just sent it on sabbatical for them few moments, because after that, I still had to live with this. I still, you know, even transparent, even this very day, people see me with a smile and they see me, all these new things going on in my life, not realizing I have moments where I have flashback tendencies, where I try to realize and try to understand how in the world did I get myself in a situation like this? You know, why in the world was I the one that had to go through this? You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it don't change just because it didn't happen when it was going to happen, right? It don't mean that I still wasn't trying to make it happen. But I swear to you, it was something that kept speaking to my spirit, that kept saying, "Will, it's not going to end the way it's been. I'm telling you, because, you know, you figure I was tired of people asking me questions. I was tired of Negroes calling my phone and texting me, telling me, bro, you ain't my bro.
Right.
You know, you a culprit, you know?
Yeah.
So I was tired of those situations and tired of those moments. And I had to literally get to a place where, like, is it going to be me or is it going to be this? Mm-hmm. You know, and that suicide is a spirit.
It is.
My spirit telling me, Will, it's not going to end the way it's been. It's not going to end like, and listen, it was hard for me to believe that because I knew what I was up against. Mm-hmm. I knew what I was up against. So you figure, how am I supposed to believe this? I know what I'm up against. I know what's being said. I know I had lost my job. I was beginning to lose my cars. I was beginning to lose my house. I was losing genuine friendship. I mean, I felt like I literally had nobody. It was like I was in a room full of people screaming for help and still nobody could hear me. Mm-hmm. And so them thoughts of suicide where it was more so along the lines, if you just do it, you ain't got to worry about this stress no more. If you just do it, it'll be done with. If you just do it, you know, listen, nobody, they'll forget about it. They'll still mourn for you than they will bring about what. It was just so much going on in my mind. And I had to really sit down and come to a place. Is it worth it? Mm-hmm. Because it's really only a temporary fix. But look how much me coming doing that one act, how many people gonna suffer? How many people count on you to come out of this? And because you take your life, you never come out, and the people whose deliverance is dependent on you, they can't even get their deliverance.
Yeah, and that's true. Once you commit suicide, about how many people the people that's around you, how they're affected. Think about all your 7 kids. Yeah. Now they got to go through therapy. Now they got to, why did daddy do this? Was it my fault? It's like so many thoughts, especially in kids. And then your wife, it's like, it's a lot. Yeah. And it does affect the people that surround you.
Yeah. It's not the, you know, I just, like I said, and I have to spend so much time even now. I still have to encourage myself. I still make sure that I'm in healthy environments, healthy energies are around me. You know, accountability is currently there because these feelings don't change. They don't go nowhere. You know, it's a spirit, and spirits don't quit. They just go on vacation.
Right.
You know.
So I have to tell myself, whenever I feel myself getting down or like in a depressed state, I'm like, you don't want to go back there, Doug. You don't want to go back. You know, remember what happened last time. Remember those patterns. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't want to have to experience that again. That was not a good place for me. That was a dark place for you. Don't go there. You know more now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I try to stay in the positive. Don't let, like you say, don't come around me with all that.
Don't bring that around here.
Don't do it.
Look. Protect your peace at all costs.
At all costs.
If it costs you your peace, it's too expensive.
Right.
I can't afford that. I'm sorry. I can't. No.
That's Seriously. So true. So let's transition. Let's talk about the new normal, church and the new normal. Yeah. And how we're adjusting. So as I said earlier, he's a pastor. And I was asking you earlier, were you doing online services and stuff like that?
And I was going to answer it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let me tell you what I believe is happening. I believe that the new norm is bridging the gap between the traditional way of doing church and the new age church. Right. And what I mean by that is the church that's more millennial driven. You know, that's driven towards our age group. Because you think about it, we've been doing digital church for a while now. Mm-hmm. You know, we've been streaming since the Carlton Pearson days, you know. So you figure now we finally catching up with the times, you know. So it's doing two things. I believe it's bridging the gap between the older church setting and the new church setting. And it's an opportunity for us to work together. Because where the older church, they want to do it, they quite just don't know how to do it. That's when the younger church can help them. While the younger church is helping them, the older church can still deposit into them. You understand what I'm saying? So if we utilize this time effectively and efficiently, we're all benefiting and growing together. You know, me personally as a pastor, I had to, I literally took this time to really heal. That's what I did. I took this time to really heal, because I realized how much more I was able to do, but I couldn't do it because I was still broken.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when people ask, you're not going to go live, I don't feel led to. Not right now, because there's still broken parts of me that need ministering to themselves. And the last thing I want to do is bleed on people that didn't even do anything to me. Here it is, all in the name of Jesus.
Jesus, yeah.
No, that's not God.
Yeah.
That's not God. And so I'd rather be effective whole than be going with the trend broken.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm just trying to digest it. Because it's very transparent of you to say that, because when, like, I know people are, ministry got to go forward. I know your members are probably looking for you like, why you not doing this? And how we gonna, it's a lot to take on as a pastor. You got a lot of different people coming at you, saying what you should do, what you shouldn't do. And for you to just be that honest with yourself and say, I'm too broken to even.
I'm too broken to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a car. It's like driving your car and you gotta go to work and your job is 20 miles from your house. And your car has 1 mile left on it until empty. Mm-hmm. And you still gonna get in your car.
Right.
And drive
on faith.
On faith now. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And you cut off 5 miles into the trip. Here it is, not because you didn't want to go to work, but because you ignored the warning signs. Mm-hmm. And I believe God gives us ample opportunity to hear it. Okay, here it is. When I was coming back from Indianapolis, when I was going to Indianapolis, I had to go through Tennessee. I have to go through all these different states, Tennessee, Kentucky, and to get to Indianapolis. And when I got halfway through Tennessee, there were signs at the 450 mile marker that said, shift ahead, lane shift ahead. And it was flashing lights. I feel Jesus. Flashing lights, right? And so I had one or two options. I can either adhere to the signs, right, and make it to my trip, hopefully safely, or ignore the signs and end up on the road I have no business being on. And I believe God give us that same opportunity as individuals, as pastors or missionaries, whatever your title is. He gives us those warning signs. He gives us grace, and it's okay to take a break.
Oh my God. It's okay.
Listen, it's okay to take a break. This is the Lord's church. This ain't my church. So if something, I put it back on God. And you figure with me being a newer pastor, I just celebrated 1 year. It was
a millennial.
I didn't have no big ministry backing me. I didn't have no big pastor names backing me. I didn't get no check. I got checks from two different people, three people that are not affiliated in big name settings. That blessed said the Lord told them. So I didn't have that big coming up or anything like that. So this was a straight faith move. So a lot of the income, even of the church, was on a responsibility of mine. So when a bill had to be paid and stuff like that, I would come up with it, and I wasn't going to profit lie to or rob people to get them to. I wasn't going to do that, So this took a lot of faith, and it took a lot of integrity, and you had to deal with what are people going to say? I don't care what people say. My grandma told me two things. When your mama got pregnant with you, they talked about you. When she decided to keep you, they talked about you. When she had you, they talked about you. And when you die, they're going to talk about you. But you got to get to a place in your life where you're mentally okay to effectively lead. And that's where I want to be. And you said ministry has to go on. Ministry does go on. It starts at your address. The Bible even tells us you can't effectively lead God's house when your house is out of order. So I've been building my church at home with my kids, with my wife. That's my first obligation. That's it. And I would be a sad pastor, and we've seen this ample time where pastors have, and this is not bashing pastors, this is my own experience, where we have been effective in the church, but being a disadvantage at home. Mm-hmm. So we feeding other people's children, telling them how much they can be and how much they can grow and how much they can do. But our own children don't get that kind of affirmation on a day-to-day basis from us. So
that's a lot, yeah.
So I've adjusted my life to where my family is my first priority.
Yeah.
You know,
and I can just, like, even now, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of testimonies coming out of this pandemic. And then, as they said, the divorce rate is up. I don't know how far, I don't know the statistics. Abuse is probably up. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of people that just need to deal with themselves at home, deal with their relationships and things at home, because oftentimes we put everything else before our family, before our marriages, before our children. Yeah, we're going to travel 90% of the year, but the other 10%, your child is feeling neglected. You can't help them with their homework. You know, you're not at the dinner table.
Little baby need help doing 2 + 2, and you was right. Like, you ain't learned that in school? Obviously not.
Right. And I just believe this time God is really bringing families together.
Yeah, I really
believe that. Then we're gonna have to tough it out and, you know, do the work. Learn each other all over again. Study, like, especially y'all married folks. I'm not married, but you know.
Let me tell you something. Listen, but you know, in all seriousness, that's really what we done in my house. Mm-hmm. Like, we do stuff now that we weren't doing. You figure I with discretion, I told you earlier, my job has me working, you know, I'm in and out of town a lot with work. So you figure I'm gone maybe 3-4 days out the week. So I'm back home on Fridays or early Saturday mornings, having to go right back out maybe Sunday, early Monday morning. So a lot of those dinner times, a lot of those outings and stuff like that, we haven't been able to do. And so now you figure we're all in the house together. We have no other choice but to relearn each other. Mm-hmm. Relearn each other, you know. So that's from movie time, that's from cooking together, that's from going outside playing kickball and baseball and, you know, just doing things like that. You know, because it's needed. And people, like, this pandemic is an inconvenience. You know, it has had a major impact on a lot of people. But even in that, what is God doing, or what is God trying to get you to do in your own personal life? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so we can do one or two things. We can come out of this pandemic the same way we went in, or we can come out better than we were when we went in. And I just choose to come out better, you know?
Right.
And if that means putting a pause to the church and stuff like that, that's okay too. Mm-hmm. That's fine. You know, I'm not telling nobody else to go ahead and put a pause on your church. That's not what I'm telling you. Hear me? You know, but even in moments like that, family is what matters.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna stand at the end of the day.
Yeah. So I think we're about to bring this to a close because it's been so good. But I want you to depart with us, giving the men some encouragement. Some tips on how to stay, like, mentally stable, and just give the men some encouragement, because I don't get to talk to men very often on here. Yeah, just uplift the men for me.
Hey, Mia, let me tell you this. My favorite person in the Bible, one of my favorite people outside of Jesus, is David. David said, I'd almost fainted. He said, except I believe to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living and not the dead. David was so amazing, because David had proclivities and he had promises. So a lot of David's issues were self-imposed, self-inflicted, but they were also, God allowed them to happen. And David had a transparent moment. He said, listen, I almost fainted. He said, in other words, listen, I'm so sick and tired of what's going on. I've had moments where I want to walk away. I've had moments where I wanted to say, this ain't worth it. I can do better. I can do bad by myself. He said, I almost threw in the towel. He said, but I believe. Here it is, men. In order for you to stand, in order for you to see the true promises and the fruition of what God has for your life, the first thing, you got to be transparent with yourself, and you got to be transparent with God. God already know. He just want to see if you can put down that masculinity for a few moments and give him straight sun. Will you allow him to be your superhero for those moments by being transparent? God, I'm tired. Tell God, I'm tired. I'm sick of this, God. I don't know what else to do. That's what David did. He said, I almost fainted except I believe. Where I said, you got to hold on to your hope, regardless of what it looks like, regardless of what it feels like, regardless of what the outcome may seem to be. If all you have is what God said, you still have the advantage. He said, except I believe to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living and not the dead. You got to be specific about what God said about your life. If God said, I'm going to be this, then I'm going to be this. And this is just a part of the benefits package. Here it is. He said, in the land of the living and not the dead. You got to be secure that I'm not going to die until God do what he said he going to do in my life. David said, I'm not going to wait until the coroner come pick me up. I'm not going to wait until they write out my obituary to say how special, how strong, how amazing, how well I live. David said, no, I'm going to experience heaven on earth. He said, I'm going to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living and not the dead. Here it is, the part that got me. He said, but wait on the Lord. Now that messed me up, man. I'm out of here in 30 seconds. He said, wait on the Lord. I said, what you mean, David? He said, because anything that's rushed is never appreciated nor kept long. He said, but when you wait on the Lord, he said, don't just wait on the Lord. He said, be of good cheer, be of good courage. In other words, he said, watch your posture. If my daddy, Reverend Dr. Howard Creasy, was here, he would say, when you're going through, you got to suffer with class. David said, so while you're going through, while you wait on the Lord, if you're going to suffer with class. I may be going through, but you can't tell it because I got God on my side and a promise in my view. And he closed this thing. He said, wait, I say on the Lord. He said, in my transparency, in me holding on to my hope, in my declaration, in my belief, in my standing, I'm waiting on God because if God brought me to it, I know he's able to deliver me through it. That's what I got for y'all, man. So be transparent. Hold on to your hope. Declare and decree what he said. Watch this. Wait on him. Here it is. And when you're going through, make sure you look real good. Put your best suit on when you're going through. And then here it is. Wait on the Lord. Because if he said it, you can count on it. He's going to do just what he said.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Yes. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Live It Out TV. My guest, William Townsend. Please go back and replay this from the beginning. If you came in late, share it, like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube page at Live It Out Inc. Follow us on Instagram at Live It Out Inc. Follow us on Facebook at Live It Out Inc. And I want to encourage you all, if you're going through any type of mental crisis, mental illness, first of all, seek help. If you can afford it, pray. Tell yourselves positive things. Keep positive people around you. Eat good, exercise, focus on positive things. And until next time, thank y'all so much for watching. Holla.
Holla.
Thank you, Will.
We off? Okay, cool.